we're back with another episode of Two Straws. Hey.
Straws.
Oh
After our quick breakup.
You know what? I don't want to talk about it. It's still very fresh. Maybe we should talk about it. Maybe it's very therapeutic. I've got to say, I was very hurt. My feelings were very, very hurt, and I didn't know how to express myself with my words, so I chose violence.
You chose 3 glasses of Cabernet.
That'll do it.
No, I think it's really funny how no one believed us.
I know. I thought it was so good.
I thought it was convincing, but I watched it the night that I posted it, and I didn't realize until the next morning that we were laughing very visibly mid-fight. So anybody who didn't catch it, me and Jess thought it'd be funny to post like a what do you call it? Like a world star type fight.
Like a street fight
Yeah.
kind of video for April Fools.
And just be like, hey, we got beef. No more 2 straws. We posted it April Fools, but unfortunately, we were both laughing mid-fight.
And then by the time it was caught, we were already home.
I fell asleep. Like, I literally got posted. I was like, bam, midnight post, April Fools. They're going to feel so stupid. And I woke up and everyone was just posting laughing, crying faces. But at least it was funny.
It was.
At least they got a laugh out of it. Even though they were not convinced at all.
I know. Oh, my microphone just went out. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I've got to say, I was like, why is everybody laughing? And then I started looking and I was like,
They should be sad for us.
They should worry about the friendship and try and
Yeah.
offer counseling and therapy. I mean,
hey guys, we know that when you've been friends for a long time, things can get rough. But you two have a good thing going. No, nothing like that.
no,
Everyone
just
was
laughter.
just like, ha. Oh, the one comment we got most was because we fought on the moving treadmill thing.
Yeah, the walkway that
yeah.
are inside airports a lot.
Yeah, like the moving sidewalk, basically.
Yeah.
So we were fighting on that, and everyone was like, "Y'all are bold," because either one of you could have lost like a chunk of hair, a lock, or something. So
They're not wrong. They're not wrong.
They're not. I didn't even think about it. Until,
I did think about it, and I was like, you know what? I'll still do it. I'll still do it. I'll just be very mindful of my hair tossing.
Of your hair. My head was on the floor.
I mean, my hair was momentarily on the floor, but yes, I maintained top position for a little bit more.
Yeah, I was really trying to sell it. I'm like, no, we're fighting. So luckily, I didn't lose any locks. They're all here. They're all maintained. I didn't have a donut incident.
Oh,
Circa 2016.
God, that was so funny. I'm pretty sure I still have a picture of when it was just like on the floor, just dead on the floor. If you don't know what we're referring to, Angela used to have a really awesome mohawk. We all know this, but for a very short amount of time, she bleached it. Yeah. And I thought it looked incredible. However, she had a lot of breakage.
It looked really cool for the first month. And then I fought in it. I chilled a bit. I didn't really moisturize that hardcore. That wasn't conditioning. And then one day, I'm pretty sure it was like a wrestling day where we were in the cage, and I felt like it was Danny Martinez like pushed me in to one of the decals on the cage, and the Velcro ripped out a huge chunk of my brittle yellow hair. And dude, it looked like one of those Krispy Kreme donuts. Like it was just a halo, a golden halo, and then a hole in the middle like a fucking hurricane. And I tried everything. I tried comb overs. It would be like, I don't know, like an Afro pick over. I tried to hide it, and I tried to dye it even so that you couldn't see it. And it was just unsavable. So that's why when I came back to the UFC, I had the shaved head because I didn't want to come back into the UFC with a donut.
You looked so young with your shaved head. I remember we were leaving Vegas and we were at the airport, and you sat down at one of the slot machines in the airport just like to sit down. And I remember one of the airport security attendant monitors, they came up to you and were like, "Excuse me, young man. Can I please see your ID? You have to be 21 to sit here." And I died.
I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm offended or if I feel like that was a compliment. Like, yeah, you thought I was a man, but a young man. Like, you thought I was under 21. I guess it's okay that you think I'm male.
Which is a compliment.
Yeah.
It's a compliment.
I was definitely over 30 at the time, so I took it. I took the compliment, decided not to get offended.
Yeah. You know, you take the wins where you can.
Yeah.
You appreciate it. I don't get asked for my ID much anymore.
No,
when I'm really offended, I'm like, I look great for 40.
You need to
I look fucking great.
You need a more asexual hairstyle.
Maybe that's it.
You know, like a nice mullet. I feel like you get carded with a mullet. Maybe a little bowl cut.
I don't think any of that.
A little
help.
Patty Pimlet
What are you
action.
doing?
I bet
What
you
are you
get carded
doing?
with one of those. We'll have to figure it out.
No.
But anyway, let's talk about MMA. We were talking so long about hair? Oh yeah, because we fought. Now we're back against my will.
Whatever, you love me. You couldn't live without me.
Sure.
These past, 8-9 years, they've been the best years of your life.
Well, what I can't live without are fights. And we actually didn't have any. We actually didn't have any UFC fights this weekend.
No, we did the weekend before.
But we did have some other fight cards. We had Gamebred Boxing. Mm-hmm. We had PFL. And what was
Bellator?
The
one we went to. The one that we went to and saw live.
What am I forgetting? Yes.
That just happened the other day. Yes, that.
The place of our alleged fight, Bellator.
Which we were just talking about.
Yeah, so we had those 3 last weekend. But let's start with the weekend before.
Oh, yeah. So we had main event. We had Sam, how do you say his last name? Sandhagen.
Yeah.
Sandhagen and Vera. And Sandhagen took the win in a 5-round battle. However, there's some questionable judging, which I just cannot excuse. I mean, we talk about judges all the time, but somebody gave Vera the win. And I just don't understand.
It was ridiculous.
There is no way, there is no excuse. I cannot even comprehend what that judge was looking at when he scored it for
his
Vera.
phone. He was looking at his phone. He was watching a TikTok. I don't know what he was doing, but
it wasn't looking at the cage in front of him.
No.
Or that monitor right in front of him.
He has a monitor. He has a close-up view of exactly what's happening, and somehow he gave Chito like 3 rounds. And it's hard for me to place the 1 round he got. I do remember Chito had like maybe 1, maybe 2 stronger rounds, but I feel like it was only 1 round where I thought, okay, he did enough for it to at least be an even round.
Yeah.
Maybe he took that round. And I was rooting for Chito. So I was looking for every excuse to give him a round. And Sandhagen just was on top of it. He was like the guy that does all his homework and studies for the test, and then like when the teacher forgets to like do the pop quiz, he reminds
Excuse me,
teacher, we have a pop quiz.
And everybody in the classroom just looks at him and wants to kill him.
Yes, he did his fucking homework.
He's getting jumped in the bathroom after class for sure.
Swirlies, because one person can't do it. He's getting jumped by at least 3 Chito Veras after class because he did his homework really well. But he was just on top of it. He was throwing lots of punches, kicks, to takedowns that he used to like really set up everything. I think that's the key to his game. He's able to just keep a constant pace, and the shots, because they're such good shots, they really keep you guessing. So if you do defend them, then you're like falling on your face trying to defend the feints to the shots, and he sets up good strikes from there. He was able to do that all 5 rounds, and I was pretty impressed. Like, his last fight was really impressive, but this one, I think, was even more impressive because Chito Vera usually does well against people with that type of style. He's able to still the rounds with, like, big moments, able to score, like, heavy punches and heavy kicks and just still rounds, and he wasn't able to do it this time.
Yeah, I think it was in between the second and third round, his coach, Jason Perillo, was like standing there talking to him saying like, hey man, you're bumming me out. Like, when are you going to pick it up? And Chito Vera is he's like, you're hurting my feelings. And Chito's like, no. Yeah,
this isn't what we worked on.
Yeah. And normally Chito, I mean, he's like pretty historically a slow starter. Mm-hmm. It takes him a little bit to get going. And then he starts just really throwing those like heavy leg kicks and hard punches. And he did it momentarily in the third and the fourth, but it was just too little too late. Sandhagen had way too much momentum on him.
Yeah.
And yeah, he did great jobs with the feints and mixing up the strikes to takedowns and just really put Vera in a tough place and dug him into a hole that he couldn't get out of.
Yeah, and I think the real turning point was like the third round where Chito started really planting and sitting down on things, and Corey Sandhagen was gone.
Yeah.
You know, he'd just be away from it. He'd slip it, he'd circle. He wasn't able to find that mark. And those are those moments where he's able to start catching up, start getting ahead, and he wasn't able to do that this time. So Sandhagen just was ready for it. He was ready for all his big attacks. He was able to pull a lot of that out. He didn't stop feinting, which is something that fighters usually do once they start to get tired. And that's when Chito was able to like capitalize, but he wasn't able to do that this time because Sandhagen was just the same pace the entire fight.
Yeah, it was really impressive. I think that's probably the most impressive that he's looked in his last few outings. I mean, I think he's always really fun to watch. I think he mixes it up really well, but he's been, a little hit or miss. He's had some tough losses.
Yeah, the Dillashaw one really sticks out to me because it was so close.
Yeah.
And that was one that I would have given to him, but he took that loss and he found places where he can improve. He's like, if I pressure more, if I shoot harder, if I'm not just, running from the shot, I'm actually creating scrambles, then I can use that to capitalize on. So what did you think about his call out to Merab Dvalishvili? I don't know if you remember it 2 whole weeks ago, but it was pretty unique.
I don't remember how it went. Please remind me.
So after Merab's last fight, he said, I'm hungry. So Corey Sandhagen, as a rebuttal to this, he said, and he even apologized before he said this. Kudos to him for knowing this was corny before he said it. But he said, all right, this is going to sound kind of lame. But Merab, I know you're hungry. And I got something for you to eat, but it don't taste good.
I think that had to be the perfect response ever. Like, what else are you going to say to that?
But it wasn't to him. I mean, Merab said this after his last fight. After Merab's
I thought it was
fight.
Like a Twitter call out. I totally missed it.
Merab said this after his last win in the cage.
Yes. Okay, it's coming back to me.
So
Thank
Corey
you.
Sandhagen, after his last win in the cage, was like, I'd like to fight Merab. And he said, I know you're hungry. And I have something for you to eat, but it doesn't taste good.
I think that's great still. It didn't happen the way that I was trying to make it connect in my mind. However, I think it's great. Cheesy, corny, a little cringy. But hey, I would love to see that fight.
I think he should have said, I have something for you to eat. Pause. Like what Aljo said when he was like, I'm coming for that ass.
Yeah.
Come on, Jess.
Listen,
you and your call out lore, you need to catch up.
This is why
I wasn't. This is what happened on March 31st / April 1st.
You need to let it go. You need to let it go.
Why.
Listen, we forgave and forgot, and you just need to move on.
This.
Are you really going to keep dwelling in this,
I'm not dwelling because it's like new stuff.
I mean, you just keep bringing it up, though.
You just keep reinforcing the original reason why. it happened in the first place. But anyway.
Listen, once beef is squashed, you don't like go bring it back up again.
Anyway.
Clearly we need to do some counseling.
I think the pause would have been a little funnier.
Not everybody can be so funny and perfectly timed as you, Angela Hill.
He practiced it, though. He said he practiced it in the mirror.
I'm trying.
But, okay, so I think that would be a great fight. I'm really excited about that fight, actually.
And it makes sense.
I feel like it's going to look like they're fighting their reflections.
Yeah.
Like, it's very similar styles, different builds.
Similar styles.
Merab,
I don't think he, flows or puts volume in his punches as well as Sandhagen. However, yes, they're pressure fighters. They want to go for the takedown. They want to grind it out. They want to make you work and make you tired. Absolutely. So it's going to come down to whoever is, has a better timing, who can, grind somebody out.
Yeah. Yeah, Merab's more like a wood chipper with his striking, and Corey Sandhagen is like, what do you call it? Like a lance.
He's a little bit more precise.
Yeah, it's like he's fencing. And Merab is just like throwing nunchucks, So it's the battle of the Ninja Turtles.
Oh, that's funny. I'll try and edit that in.
Leonardo versus Michelangelo.
Maybe.
Or Merab kind of gives me a Raphael kind of.
He could be a Raphael
vibe.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
definitely.
Short stature, the hunched shoulders, but he's too nice. Nah, he's definitely Michelangelo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could even say that Sandhagen's like kind of Michelangelo-ish.
Well, no, Sandhagen's kind of like Donatello. The nerdiness.
Is he though?
You don't think so?
Yeah, I guess so.
And the reach too. He has that big staff.
He does.
Pause. I guess I don't have to say pause because it's not gay. The pause is like a gay joke. Like, oh, no homo. It's like the same kind of thing. So I can just say eyebrow raise.
Well, that only works with a video, so it's a good thing that you're doing that.
Yes. I have to tell you guys on the podcast who are listening audio only what I did. It was an eyebrow raise. A very flirtatious one.
Very insinuating.
Mm-hmm. What else happened on that card that was exciting? I feel like the co-main was noteworthy, but I don't remember what it is.
You're getting old.
I know. I can't even remember.
As me.
I can't even remember what we did Friday.
Hey, at least you remembered it was Friday.
Yeah. Oh, Holly Holm versus Yana Santos. That I did want to talk about that. Where do you think Holly Holm is now after she pretty much schooled Yana Santos? I think Santos was ranked number 3.
I mean that puts her right up in the title contention spot. Like I mean
Holm was already number 1, so
there's nobody else.
Yeah.
That division is not very stacked. It's a very quick shot to the title picture. Mm-hmm. So yeah, put her in.
Yeah. Who is fighting for the title right now? Has there been
There's no
set?
one. No.
Nunes is just sitting up on her throne.
Yeah, she just beat
chillaxing.
Pena. I'm sure Pena wanted an immediate rematch. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they have to give it to somebody else because we've just seen them twice in a row.
Oh wait, no, isn't
was it Irina? Yeah, she was
Irina?
supposed to. She was supposed to, and then it didn't happen.
Why not?
Something happened. I don't know if one of them got injured, but I remember it was supposed to happen. It's supposed to happen on my card.
Dang, that sucks.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, so winner of that fight, when it eventually happens, you think that they'll get Holly Holm next? Because the thing about Holly Holm is she's fought for the title so many times. And she has a bunch of losses on her records, but they're only title defenses.
Yeah.
Or usually title defenses, or the one time she had the title.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense. I think who she is as a fighter, her position and everything like that, her she has a huge following as well. I don't have any arguments as to why she wouldn't be next in line.
And how do you think she looked?
I think she looked okay. I think she looked the same as she always does. You know, she comes out and she has a very clear, distinct pathway to get where she wants to go. It's kind of classic Greg Jackson's like game plan, and she really sticks to it. She really doesn't divert.
Yeah, yeah. I thought her wrestling has just been improving ever since like her last 3 fights, like ever since 2020, like the COVID time. I feel like she just went into wrestling camp and really just stuck to that and got really good at taking people down and just sitting on them.
Or just grinding up against the cage.
But I remember when she fought Irene Aldana, that was the first time I noticed that, oh, she has other things. She's not just going to put you up against the cage and let her butt cheeks pop out. Like, she can actually take you down, too, and let her butt cheeks sit on top of you. You know, everybody knows what I'm talking about. The little patented holla home butt
little
cheeks.
cheek slip.
Yeah.
Little cheek wink.
Under cheek.
How you doing? I'm here. I'm here.
Hey.
I'm cute. I'm here.
I need to figure out what size to ask for so I have under boob all fight. Cause that's the best part of my boob is the under boob. Yeah. I feel like I'd get a lot more fans if I could just.
You just have to be prepared that it may turn into full boob.
I think I'd be all right.
It could turn into full boob real quick. Then do you want to get distracted like Jessica Andrade was?
Oh, I would never be distracted. I'd be
just
like,
let him out?
I'd stick it in her mouth. I mean, use it to help smother and get my underhook back. Shove that thing in her eyeball. She's like, you're just poking me in the eye. And I'm like, not in the rule book. Like, yeah, bitch, I put ice on it right before I started. Give me that underhook.
Scratch that cornea.
Yeah. Get into the back of her skull.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So aggressive and violent.
I wouldn't mind. But Holly Holm, every time she fights, you can count on that butt cheek just popping out, just like.
That's the reason I never want to wear the Valley Tudo shorts.
Short shorts?
Yeah.
I think you'd have a nice underbutt.
No, hers is like cute and like unoffensive. I feel like mine is just.
It would be like porn-esque.
Yeah. That thing's fat.
There's this chick.
Just has a mind of its own.
I forget her name, but she's a black chick. I think she's like from Panama or something. And her butt cheek always pops out.
I know who you're talking about.
She wears the red shorts.
Yep.
Oh, it's so cute. Because that thing is like an apple.
It is round.
And she's wearing red shorts too, so it's even more apple-esque.
It's round.
And the cheek pops up ever so slightly, like after a couple push kicks or something. And she has like really good like stabs to the gut. Check her out. Forget her name.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I can see the ass.
I can see it. I can see them legs and the ass. Yes. It's glorious.
The ball on top.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, good for Holly Holm. I think it's pretty cool that she's still killing it. She's 41. I think the oldest active women in the UFC right now, and still on top, still killing it. So I hope she gets a title shot because she's definitely putting in the work, and it doesn't seem like she's slowing down at all. And the longer she's there, the less people are looking at me saying, "When's your old ass getting out?" Go die in a ditch somewhere. It's like as soon as you get over 30, people are like, so old in their career.
It's always a talking point.
The ripe old age, they highlighted it in red.
So
on your teletape.
So yeah, no, it is. It is. So I didn't realize this until like last week, but Daniel Cormier was in my DMs because he called my fight. And so he sent me like a list of questions, and it was all age based. And I was like, fuck you, Daniel Cormier. Let's get the fuck out of here. I'm glad I didn't see that.
Oh my gosh. I'm professional, first of all. To hit you up in your DMs.
I was like, why would you do that?
Like, you have people who can actually call me and ask.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I was like,
UFC
why?
organizes this.
Yeah, they could just reach out.
Yeah.
Why didn't you do that?
What was one of the questions? Do you remember?
Hold on, I'll bring it up.
Oh, dang.
Still got it.
Daniel, were you
Daniel.
drunk? Were you drunk again? I feel like half the time he's calling fights, he has a little flask hidden under.
Why not?
One of his suit jacket pockets.
Why not?
Right next to his popcorn.
He said, would you say you still are in the gym as much before, even though you're older?
He was drunk. The grammar. Can I see that?
I know.
What? Would you say you are still in the gym as much as before, even though you... Okay. That is worded in the worst way possible.
I know.
He needs to work on his...
I know. But I feel like he was just asking
delivery.
that because he already had the answer he wanted.
Yeah.
You know, he's projecting a little bit because he's an old man that was fighting in the cage too.
Well, yeah, I think it's easy to get offended, but then also see that he was in the same spot.
Oh, for sure. I'm not offended that
I was
he's
offended
asking.
for you.
No.
I was offended for you, but yeah, now I see.
But what it makes my mind think is like, listen, you already know what you want to say. You're just trying to get like confirmation that, you know, you're right kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man. You already know the answers because you were old and you were fighting.
Yeah, you don't need that answer. You can just say, when I was old and fighting, I wasn't in the gym as much. Perhaps.
It's the same for you. Is this true?
Yeah.
Just like create a little bit more of like vulnerability and connection before you jump in and call me an old bitch. That's all.
Yeah.
Come on, DC.
He don't know. He don't know. He doesn't know how to
I'm going to let him know next time I see him.
Yeah. It's like,
if I ever see him.
That was very rude.
How dare you, sir? Never ask a woman's age.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, I wonder if he did the same to Holly. Hey, old bitch. What about, let's see. So those are the only two fights I really wanted to talk about on that card. So let's fast forward to this weekend. We got to go to Bellator thanks to Jessica and her hookup. We got to see. I didn't even watch the main event, but
it was actually good. I was cage side for it, and
Okay.
I was like talking to my friend, and I was like, it's such a toss up with heavyweights. So like you either get like fireworks or you get like big sweaty dudes like laying on each other, which was the case. And then bam, fireworks.
Ooh, yay.
Yeah. So it ended up working all out. I was very happy with the fireworks, but I was like, I don't know if this is going to happen.
What round was it?
It was the last round.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dang, that was a close one.
Yes.
That was a close one. It was almost a.
I was losing hope.
Almost what
I
I,
was
like
losing
to call,
hope.
I like to call them elephant sill fights. Because
they are.
if you've ever watched National Geographic and they have like one of those elephant sill like documentaries where the males are fighting
Like
over
thrashing
the
their
females
necks at each other.
with the big tusk. And
Oh, the tusk is flapping.
every now and then you see a slice on the blubber. And there's blood everywhere. That's what it looks like to me.
Brutal. Yeah. No, that's accurate. That tracks.
Yeah, and then they take a long break.
And then they get out there and do it again,
And
but
then
at
they finish
less energy reserve. Like they're even much more labored and tired.
Yes, shorter burst.
But there is always that hope that you hold on to that it is like it's gonna be over.
Bam.
And it was.
Nice. Yeah,
Thank
I saw
goodness.
the knockout. The
Yes.
knockout was scary.
He was a big boy.
It was a nasty, nasty knockout.
He was a big boy.
Yeah,
and he hit very, very hard.
Oof. Ugh. I always say I couldn't date someone who was a heavyweight fighter. It's hard to be
Right?
friends with heavyweight fighters.
Yeah.
Because you're so invested emotionally and you know that there's a good chance they're going to get laid the fuck out.
It's
nerve wracking. Like I enjoy being very distant from them, not really seeing them as people.
Just like you're out on safari in the wild.
Yeah.
Like looking at some elephants off on the prairie on the distance.
Yeah, but if one of the elephants was like Dumbo and you raised him or whatever, and
baby.
elephant reserve, and then you're out there watching him, then it's gonna feel a lot different. So, yeah, I like how you went to elephants after the elephant seal conversation. Wow, we're really dehumanizing these guys. Poor heavyweights. They're just big old giant elephants there for our entertainment. They don't have feelings. But yeah, I would freak out if I was like the wife or the girlfriend or daughter of one of those guys, because they're really putting a lot more health risk on the line than we are. Like they're risking serious brain damage, serious injuries, big old lumps flying at them, like
lumps. No, I mean it's true. I feel like it's just so rare that we see a heavyweight with a really big record, because they have such a short lifespan. They do. Well, like professional fighting lifespan is just, it can be a lot shorter unless you have a very specific style, unless, you've managed to be, technically sound on the defense and,
really elusive.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's a very dangerous weight class. I understand why the mainstream finds it so appealing, because, there's always that possibility of getting a knockout, unlike in other weight classes where it's just not as frequent. So I get it. I understand. But it is very scary to watch, to watch it, because you know the risk, and that, one of those punches could completely change their career.
Yeah, their life. It's and I think the other part that makes them so cool to watch is just how much larger than life they seem. Like when you meet a heavyweight for the first time that you've been watching on TV, you're just like, oh yeah, exactly.
It's like, whoa.
Hi, Francis. He comes to shake your hand, and it's like two of your hands.
Just like surrounds it.
Yeah.
Encompasses your hand.
I feel like he can just like pick me up with one hand.
You probably could.
Oh yeah, he could. I can step right into that palm and just be like.
What are those cheerleader things called?
Yeah.
Just like post them up.
Yeah, he could totally do that. So the other fight on that card was Kat Zingano versus Molly McCann's girl,
Leah
Mick something.
McCormick,
yes. I believe
so.
Yeah. Good job.
Thank you.
Job. Good memory. That fight was pretty entertaining. Just classic Kat Zingano fight. A lot of back and forth. A lot of like crazy takedowns, sacrifice throws by Kat where she can end up on bottom, but then she scrambles back on top. But the craziest thing to me was the damage in that fight. And I really think that was the main reason she was able to take the fight.
I hear what you're saying. I feel like Kat was... I feel like she didn't show up the same way that I normally see her. I feel like she gave up a lot of takedowns, and she was in positions where I don't normally see her. I normally see her, like if she's on the ground, she's on top of someone, and she's at least scoring and like keeping that person down, making that person work. And it was a very kind of loose fight. But I do have to also give credit to Leah, because I saw a very much improved Leah. I thought she was just going to get steamrolled. And then when she came out, she was going for takedowns. She was pushing Kat back. She was, catching kicks and taking her down. So I was really impressed with that. The first round, I remember Leah came off of the cage, and she had this huge, like half of her face was completely swollen. And it was from an elbow that Kat threw while Leah was on her back. And I just could not believe that it did that much damage.
Yeah.
And then the knee that she threw towards the end of the third round, the final round, just cut her up. So she looked like she went through the ringer. She looked like she lost. But on the scorecards, I had it really close. I had it 1-1. And then the third round, I thought was just so close. It could have been a toss-up, but I felt like Leah could have squeaked it out. But the damage, I definitely think, is what sealed the deal.
Yeah, for sure. Like her face was split open in like maybe the last minute of the fight. So I felt like that sealed the deal for her, especially when you have the image of them both standing up after the fight. Her face is covered in blood. Kat doesn't look like she has a scratch.
I'm fine.
On her. Yeah, like nothing happened.
We can go another one. I'm ready.
Yeah, one more round. But the one thing I didn't notice watching tape on, and her name is McCourt. Leah McCourt.
Thank you.
I had to look it up though. But the one thing I didn't notice was because our friend Janae is so fucking big. I didn't realize how big Leah McCourt was until I saw her next to Kat, and then I was like, whoa, that's a big girl.
Yeah.
Like, she's all legs, like, all just... she must cut a lot of weight because of the way that her face damaged, the way that she cut open so fast after one knee. A lot of times it takes, like, several knees to get, like, a nice clean cut like that. It was the first one. So I always think, oh, your skin was really close to your face because he had to cut a lot of water in order to make that weight. And Kat just kind of walks in at 145.
Yeah, she's not, I mean, she used to compete at 125, which I know was a really hard weight cut for her.
Yeah.
And that was early in her career. And then she fought at 135, which
UFC.
which is a much better, healthy weight class for her. Mm-hmm. But 145 is huge.
Yeah,
like
that little 10 pounds, it makes such a big difference.
It really does.
Weight classes.
It really does.
And that's all the women's weight classes are, the smaller weight class. But that 10-pound jump, like, you're suddenly fighting giants like Leah McCourt.
Yeah.
So I think that had a lot to do with her just being able to off-balance Kat so easily. She easily had about 20 pounds on her that night.
Potentially.
Yeah, just because one cut weight and one didn't.
Yeah.
Which really makes me wish that they had a 135 in Bellator because there are a lot of girls who probably could do one or the other. But then I heard, I mean, not that I heard, but I saw that there was a 115 weight class.
There is, but there isn't.
Or, no, there was a 115 fight on the card. So I'm like, oh, maybe they're thinking about bringing in 115 at some point.
They just kind of do one-offs with 115. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not... because the UFC has such a corner on the market with the 115 pounders, I don't think that they have enough people where they can maybe like legitimize the weight class. Although I'm sure if they tried, they could. I just don't think it's their focus.
Some people, and I'm wondering if they're looking for that one person to build everything around. Because like with 125, they had Alima. They're like, okay, this one person we could build the whole weight class around. At 145, they had Chris Cyborg. So
they still do have her.
They do, but like I heard she's in contract negotiations or like shopping around, so we'll see. But she's still on the banner for sure.
I mean, she's still coming to the fights.
Yeah.
She was at the previous. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't see her.
Like she's still around. She wasn't at this one, but the last one we went to, which was a month ago. Like she was at that one ringside.
Yeah. I've heard that she's looking around and trying to test the waters or whatever. So we'll see if they still have her on lock. But that's where the initial weight class came from. Is
exactly
superstars to build the card or
sure.
build the weight class around. So I'm wondering if they're waiting for someone like that to pop up. They did have the girl with the fat ass that keeps her.
She's a 125er.
Keeps her from making atom weight because her ass is so big.
So thick.
So big.
So bootylicious.
I know another person whose ass is so big they can't make atom weight. But I digress. We should talk about the other fights.
You want to fight again. You want to fight again.
I want a rematch.
Listen.
What went down yesterday that stuck out to you?
Oh my God. Okay. So Gamebred had their first fight card, which was a pretty big boxing event. Yeah. And the most memorable fights that stood out was Gina.
Yeah.
And Pearl. Mm-hmm. These are two former UFC fighters, UFC vets, and they fought each other in a boxing match. Mm-hmm. And honestly, like coming into it, I wasn't sure how it would go because Gina she's kind of a grinder, and she looks for the takedown. She looks to grind you up against the cage. She's never really exhibited a ton of like striking. It's strike to takedown, strike to clinch kind of thing. Yeah. And Pearl has, a little bit more boxing experience. a little bit cleaner striking, so I wasn't sure what it would look like. And Gina took it to her.
Dude,
she ended up.
It looked
she
like she
brawled the
surprised,
boxer.
Pearl. Like
Sometimes,
Pearl looked a little bewildered in the first few rounds, and I think she got a hold of herself. I thought it was going to be a draw, because the first 3 rounds I felt like Gina was just like taking her to town, and then the last 3 it looked like Pearl finally got her balance and was like, okay, I'm in a fight, like get over it. I think Pearl thought she was going to walk over her because, I mean, I kind of came in with the same idea that you did, that Gina doesn't really throw hands with confidence. She's only using it to set things up. Yeah. So I was really impressed with her, man.
Yeah.
I was really impressed.
Yeah, and that's what you have to do with somebody who has, cleaner technique, cleaner striking, and they're looking to, set shots up and, set combinations and just, be in that kind of zone. You really have to take it to them and overwhelm them and take them out of their game. And that's what Gina did. She did a really great job with it. And I was really excited for her.
Yeah, me too. What about the main event? You had Pettis versus Roy Jones.
Well, can we talk about our friend first? Can we talk about Jeremy Stevens?
Yeah.
And Jose Aldo taken to town?
I mean, I was going to save the best for last.
Sorry.
We could do that. No.
Just, there's chronological, orders.
I know, right?
But I get it.
Yeah. Well, I'll just be real. I was bored.
You were bored because it was boxing, or you were bored because of the fight?
I think because it was the last fight. I think because I don't know, it was very boxing-esque.
Yeah.
I don't know. It didn't. I felt like there was no like Roy Jones flair that you usually see.
Yeah.
Like he almost was corked a bit for the fight. Like the clawed a bit, but he's also an old man.
He's an old man.
So, why am I being so hard on him?
Leave him alone, Angela.
I know.
What is that about?
I know, but it was, it looked like a boxing match. I don't know. I think it was probably too technical for my liking.
You want a bloodbath? You want a brawl?
I want to see.
You just want chaos.
I want to see everyone look like Gina.
It makes for an exciting fight. I totally get it. It was nice to see the MMA fighters that were, they really took boxing seriously and they put in the work. Like I have to acknowledge Jeremy Stevens for that. He's been one of those he's had good striking, but he hasn't been super, technical setting shots up. He's a savage. He just goes at it and he does a great job at that. But he looked really technical in his fight against Jose. And Jose trains, he's always said that, he was doing a lot more boxing training and he was training with the Brazilian, national boxing team, and he spars a lot of boxing. So we already knew him as, a technician, but to see Jeremy put in the work and just execute things and just, look like he was boxing out there, I was really impressed with him.
Well, I think the thing with strikers a lot of time, when they go from MMA to boxing is you see that they always had those skills, but because there's so many options and so many things to look out for in MMA, you can't really show
for sure
the shit that you do on pads all the time. So we're seeing Jeremy hit like clean like pulls and rolling under punches and hitting angles and stuff like that. And it's things that you don't see in MMA because he has to worry about getting kicked in the head. He has to worry about getting taken down. Like I think it almost, even though there's less that you can throw, there's more that you can do with the few tools that you have.
Oh, for sure.
2 tools, but you can do a lot more with them because you don't have to worry about all this other stuff. So, and he doesn't have to worry about getting kicked in the leg, that's a big thing when you're fighting Jose Aldo.
Yeah.
So I thought it was really impressive. I was kind of surprised that people were saying that Aldo was robbed. It went to a majority draw.
Yeah, I didn't see that either.
I thought Jeremy might have taken it, and I'm super biased. I'm super biased. Everything he does, I'm scoring it double when I'm watching it. But also, I just felt like he was landing the harder shots. I felt like when he landed clean, it had more effect on Aldo, and you can see the frustration. He was getting pushed back. I think Aldo was landing more volume towards the end, but I just felt like Jeremy was doing really well and might have taken 4 rounds. But
yeah,
I think robbery was
that's a strong thing to say.
I think draw was very fair, and I'd love to see it again. And it seems like they'd love to do it again. They looked like they were having fun in there.
Yeah, and I think there was, I just saw a lot of, nods of mutual respect. They've been in there before against each other, and I think they were really enjoying themselves.
Yeah.
And I tend to be a little bit more, harsh on people I know because I know what they're capable of. So but I thought he did a really good job. Like, I really got behind it. I'm like, oh, maybe it didn't go his way, or maybe this or maybe that. But I thought he did a great job.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other fights that you want to mention on there?
I think that is all.
Yeah.
For that card.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then one last fight I want to talk about is Brendan.
Yes. We have to give the young lad a shout out.
But we can do it in our exclusive 15. We'll come back and talk about Brendan, PFL champ, and his performance against Marlon Moraes.
We'll be right back.